Hey guys, it's me. I'm doing another inbox review. This is an exclusive one actually, one I hadn't actually planned until just now. It's about a new release that's just come out this very week. It is of course the Airfix, hang on if I can adjust the camera, Armstrong Whitworth Whitley Mk5 in 1/72. Now often I don't really go for 1/72, but when it's a subject like this then I make the exception. The Whitley is a bomber I've always been interested in. In fact, most of the Bomber Command aircraft during the Second World War. And I do have actually in my stash two of the retooled Lancasters that Airfix brought out around about a year to 2 years ago. Other than that, the Whitley you couldn't get unless you had the old Frog or Novo kit, which to be honest with you was a rather crude kit. There wasn't a lot of detail in it, and obviously the canopy and the nose guns were rather foggy, so it was a case you had to do a lot of work and get aftermarket stuff to make it look good. And then about 2 years ago, Fly started releasing various versions of the Whitley. I have heard good reviews about them, but the price tag is quite excessive. And now you've got the option of actually getting a retool of the Whitley with Airfix, which they announced, I think, at Telford last year as one of the new releases for this year. And I had had a quick look at it, and to be honest with the level of detail on it, I must say, guys, it's certainly impressive. I mean, the history behind this aircraft was that it was one of the backbones of Bomber Command during the very early years of the war. First off, it was used in leaflet raids over Germany, and then I think it was more commonly known for the early interdictor air raids around about 1940, along with the Hampdens and the Wellingtons, and was basically used in that field until around about the latter part of 1941, early part 42. When obviously you had the heavy bombers coming in, such as the Stirling, the Halifax and the Lancaster. But it wasn't completely given up on. It was used for parachute training, also clandestine air operations with the OSS, and more well known on Coastal Command, basically looking out for U-boats. So there you go. Anyway, without further ado, we'll get on with the review of the actual kit itself. As you can see on the box, you've got an illustration, a computer-generated illustration of Whitley's coming in from a night raid in the early camo scheme. So I should imagine it's around about circa 1940. And then on the box here, you've got the two colour options that you can do. One with the early camo version and one in 1941 with the overall dark night black. The kit number, if you're interested in getting hold of one, if I put it in there, I don't know if you can see it, is AO8016. That's AO8016. I'll just pause that there. If you want to pause it, you can actually get the kit number. Okay. The only thing I will say to you guys is these kits are going flipping quick. The buyer actually told me I was very lucky, as he'd actually ordered 200 and within a week they'd gone. So he's just waiting for another batch to come through. So if you're going to get hold of one of these, get one quick. Okay. And then on the other side, you've got all the CAD drawings that you can see there of the detail on this kit, which I have to say extremely impressive for such a small scale. And then we'll just see what's inside. It is a top opening box, very much like the Lancaster. And then you get one bag of sprues, which is, to be honest with you, I wish Airfix would not do. It'd be better if they did them in separate sprues, but anyway, enough about my little rant. On the front there, you've got a little history about the aircraft, and then obviously all the symbols, etc. Opening up, it's a bit like a pamphlet. Inside, the various symbols and what they mean as you're going through the course of the build. And then obviously starting with the cockpit, you've got to apply the rear bulkhead, and it shows you how to marry it up, along with it looks like the navigator's seat. I may be wrong. And then you got the the pilot seat. Then you had the instrument panel. You've got the control yoke there, the actual control panel. And this is basically another CAD drawing there. This is basically all the various stages of the assembly of the cockpit and the front section of the fuselage. And as you can see, the level of detail on it looks absolutely very impressive. So hats off to them. And then you have the front bulkhead to where the actual nose turret is, and obviously you've got the bomb aimer's seat there. And you've got the navigator station along with his table. And then obviously you put the navigator's seat in there. And there's various stages of the internal construction, as you can see there, all colour coded. And then you're going on to the main part of the fuselage, where you've got the cockpit, you've got the actual floor and the bomb bay. And there's a clear section there which you add on the internal fittings. And obviously the rear bulkhead door. This is how it should be laying. And this is the opposite side. And then you've got the upper observers thing, because they used to do night navigation with stars in those days. That was before they had Aztec and all this sort of thing. Two fuselage halves go together. And the upper part of the fuselage then buttons onto that. Then you're adding onto the main bomb bay and I think wing axis panel. You can see there. You do have the added option of actually putting the stand on there and obviously producing the holes. Then you put the main wing spar on to the lower part of the wing. Add the two wing spars together. Rear bulkhead. Then the radiator grills go on. And then you've got the upper part of the bomb bay which goes on, which you can see there. And then add the two to one of the outer part of the wings, lower part, then the upper part goes on there, as you can see there. Okay. Then you're going on to the engine assembly, where you put the actual engine frame in on either sides, and obviously got the bulkheads for the fuselage, well, upper undercarriage bay, as you can see there. That's the construction of those. And then you assemble the engines along with the radiator grills, that you can see there. And obviously put the exhausts in, as well as the air inlet valves and the radiator grill there on both engines, as you can see. And then you add the engines onto the main wing, which you can see there. Okay. Add the front part of the fuselage to the wing. And then the rear part of the fuselage goes onto the wing. And then you add the air brakes, as you can see there, elevators, and then it's the construction of the rear tailplanes and elevators, as you can see there. Okay. And then you got the option of having the bomb bay either open or closed. Now personally I'm going to have the bomb bay open because I want it to see your payload. Okay, and then obviously you put the bomb bay doors in, and you can have one open and one closed. Okay, and then the rear tail wheel goes on. And this is if you want it in flight mode. Obviously the two undercarriage doors go onto the vehicle, onto the aircraft, and this is if you want to have it open. I'm going to have it with the undercarriage down. And then at the back here, this is the most interesting part, is obviously the turrets. This is the rear turret. Beautiful detail again on the main framework. Then you put the perspex on. And I think it's getting near to the end of construction. I think this is the rear doors, which they used to open to get into the rear turrets. And then again you put the front turret at the front there, rear turret on, add the perspex, bomb aimer's glass as well. And this is the I don't know where that one is actually. Is that an option to have a turret or not? I don't think this aircraft did. Not quite sure, guys. You'll have to bear with me on that one. This is maybe this is an option for a latter example. Then obviously put the propeller together along with the air screws. Add the perspex onto the cockpit, and obviously you've got the two early version, or the latter one, with the navigator's dome. Then you put the rear radar on, and then you can have the added option of having the crew ladders open, which I probably more than likely will, and one running from the nose. So that's your construction complete. Then obviously you've got the colour call-outs. The first one is on aircraft based at RAF Driftfield around about, where is it? Let me see, March 1940. And that was actually flown by Squadron Leader Charles MacDonald. I think he was mentioned in dispatches, or he got a VC, I'm not sure. Check him out anyway. And then the second example is a year later on Night Raids, where this is an overall night black, and that's for a squadron that was based at Leaming in Yorkshire, December 1941. Personally, I might look at some aftermarket decals because I prefer the black underneath and the upper camouflage. So I probably won't use the two decal options in this kit. Right, next we're going to get on to the sprues. Right, the first one, again, I'll show you the level of detail on this, guys. If I can find... here we go. It's one of the rear bulkheads and floor. Look at the detail on that. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah, absolutely superb. I've even got the navigator's radio box, if I can find it. Get it into shot. Sorry about this, guys. Hang on. If I move the camera over, there you go. See it? Right into shot there. Look at that detail. Isn't that super? Really well done. And the thing is, they've even caught the nice fabric texture on the elevators, as you can see there. Beautifully produced. It really is well done. I mean, I'm really impressed with the level of detail on this kit, guys. I really am. And then obviously you've got the second sprue. And then you've got the rear panels for the undercarriage. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? I really am impressed with this kit. And you've not only got it on the back, but you've got it on the front as well. If I can find it. Oh, come on. Get in shot. Sorry about this, guys. If you'll bear with me, because this is... there you go. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? And even the control panel. Admittedly, you've, I think, got a decal for the actual control panel, but look at the level of detail on it. Absolutely fantastic. And they've even got the flat spot for the tyres with the weight of the aircraft. I was blown away with this, I really was. And obviously you've got your bombs right there. And then you've got the maiden framework for your turrets. Absolutely fantastic. Excuse me. And then you've got the fuselage halves. Again, look at the internal detail. Fantastic, isn't it, guys? And then you got your wing spar there. Again, the detail on it is just superb. And then you got the rear escape hatch and obviously the lower part of the bomb bay. Beautifully cool on the cockpit floor and on the reverse as well. Really is superb, and I love the panel line detail on this. It's beautiful. That's going to come up really well with weathering and wash. So I am impressed. And there you go, you got a better impression of the panel lines as well. They're all recessed, so you haven't got to worry about raised detail. So yes, I am impressed with this kit, and I have to say, if I can catch it in the light, no, you're not going to see it, unfortunately. But trust me, the detail on it is fantastic. And again, on the bomb bay, look at that. Really superb, and on the opposite side as well. Really well done. And then you've got the internal workings of the engine bay on the upper part of the wings. fantastic. Again, it's beautifully recessed panel detail. You've got the texture with the oh god, what was it, aluminium on the wing. Look at that, isn't that fantastic? So they've really done their research on these aircraft, and even the perspex is so clear. Admittedly, that's going to take some masking, but I'm sure Edward or somebody will bring out some masking sets in due process. And then obviously you've got the turrets right there. Absolutely fantastic. I've never seen a Whitley so detailed, and obviously you've got the front panel for the bomb aimer. Look at that. Absolutely brilliant. And again, you've got the internal fittings to go on the internal windows. Clear as a bell, they really are. So that's that part. Let's just get my decal sheet out, put all the sprues back in. And there's your decals, again done by Cartograph. Nicely textured, nicely done. So yeah, I am well impressed with this kit, and believe me, if you want to get hold of one, do, because they are going fast. I sourced this one, I think off of eBay. I don't know if Amazon have got it on there, but if you get a chance and you're a big fan of Bomber Command and their aircraft, definitely get this Whitley. It's one of the best I've seen yet. Anyway, without further ado, that's the end of the review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, subscribe. So you guys be good, keep busy on the workbench, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.